Have you ever met someone who walked into a room without expensive clothes, without flashing success, without trying to impress anyone, yet somehow everyone noticed them? They didn't speak the loudest. They didn't demand attention. They didn't chase approval. And still, their presence carried a quiet authority that made people naturally respect them. That kind of influence cannot be bought. It cannot be borrowed. It is built, one small decision at a time, through habits so subtle that most people overlook them every single day. In a world obsessed with appearances, many believe that looking wealthy is the same as being high class. They spend fortunes on brands, luxury watches, designer shoes, and polished images, hoping that status will follow. But true class has never lived inside a price tag. It lives in the way you treat people who have nothing to offer you. It lives in your ability to remain calm when others lose control. It lives in the respect you give before expecting any in return. The most elegant people rarely announce who they are because their character speaks before their words ever do. The truth is that every single day you are sending signals to the world. Every conversation, every reaction, every gesture quietly tells people what kind of person stands before them. Most of these signals happen without you even realizing it. Some push people away, while others create trust, admiration, and lasting respect. The remarkable part is that these signals don't require money, fame, or extraordinary talent. They require awareness. They require discipline. They require the courage to value substance over performance. Real refinement is not about pretending to be someone you're not. It is about becoming someone whose habits naturally reflect confidence, dignity, and self-respect. It is choosing patience when impatience feels easier. It is choosing kindness when arrogance seems more rewarding. It is carrying yourself with quiet certainty instead of desperate validation. These choices may appear insignificant in the moment, but over time they shape the reputation that follows you into every room long before you speak your first word. Today, you're about to discover 7 daily gestures that instantly signal high class. Not because they make you appear superior, but because they reveal a level of emotional intelligence, maturity, and inner strength that never goes unnoticed. These are habits practiced by people who understand that genuine respect is earned quietly, not demanded loudly. If you're ready to transform the way the world sees you by first transforming the way you carry yourself every day, then stay with me until the very end, because the smallest gesture on this list may become the most powerful change you ever make. True class begins long before a person speaks. It announces itself through presence, not performance. There is something unforgettable about someone who enters a room with calm confidence, acknowledges everyone with genuine respect, and carries themselves without seeking attention. They don't rush to become the center of every conversation, nor do they feel the need to prove their worth. Instead, they create an atmosphere where others feel seen, heard, and valued. This quiet presence is one of the strongest signals of refinement because it comes from inner security rather than the desire for external validation. Respectful presence is built through countless small choices that most people ignore. It is making eye contact when someone is speaking instead of constantly checking a phone. It is offering a warm smile that feels sincere rather than rehearsed. It is listening carefully without interrupting, waiting patiently instead of preparing your next response while the other person is still talking. These simple behaviors communicate that you value people, and people naturally remember those who make them feel important. Many individuals mistakenly believe confidence means dominating conversations, speaking louder than everyone else, or displaying superiority. In reality, those who possess genuine confidence rarely feel the need to compete for attention. They understand that silence can be more powerful than unnecessary words. Their calmness reflects emotional stability, and their composure reassures everyone around them. When challenges arise, they respond thoughtfully instead of reacting emotionally, demonstrating that strength is measured by self-control rather than volume. A respectful presence also means treating every individual with equal dignity, regardless of status or position. High-class people do not reserve their kindness only for influential individuals while ignoring everyone else. They greet security guards with the same courtesy they offer executives. They thank servers sincerely, appreciate assistance, acknowledge cleaners, and recognize the humanity in every person they encounter. Their respect is not selective because their values are not dependent on someone's social standing. This consistency reveals character far more clearly than any expensive possession ever could. Body language plays an equally important role in communicating refinement. Standing with good posture, walking with purpose instead of haste, maintaining relaxed facial expressions, and avoiding restless movements all contribute to an impression of quiet confidence. These habits suggest that a person is comfortable with themselves and does not need constant reassurance from others. Even during disagreements, their gestures remain controlled, their expressions remain respectful, and their tone remains measured. Such composure makes people feel safe. Encouraging trust and meaningful connection, being fully present is becoming increasingly rare in today's fast-moving world. Many conversations are interrupted by notifications, distractions, or wandering attention. Someone who gives another person their complete focus instantly stands apart. They remember names, recall details from previous conversations, and ask thoughtful questions that show genuine curiosity. This level of attentiveness cannot be faked for long because authentic interest always reveals itself through consistency. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel genuinely heard. Another powerful aspect of respectful presence is humility. Truly refined individuals do not constantly remind others of their achievements, possessions, or influence. They allow their actions to speak louder than their words. Instead of seeking admiration, they focus on offering value. Instead of competing to appear important, they create space for others to shine. Ironically, this willingness to step back often earns them even greater respect because people recognize authenticity when they encounter it. Calm presence is also demonstrated during moments of pressure. When unexpected problems arise, emotionally immature people often panic, blame others, or raise their voices. A person with genuine class pauses, assesses the situation, and responds with patience. Their steadiness reassures those around them, proving that elegance is not tested during comfortable moments, but during difficult ones, when character quietly reveals itself through every expression, every decision, and every interaction. Words have the power to reveal far more than intelligence. They reveal patience, self-control, confidence, and emotional maturity. One of the clearest signs of genuine class is not speaking constantly, but speaking with purpose. There is a remarkable difference between someone who fills every silence with unnecessary conversation and someone who chooses their words carefully. The first often seeks attention, while the second earns respect. High-class individuals understand that every sentence carries weight, so they never waste words trying to impress people. Instead, they allow thoughtful communication to reflect the depth of their character. In today's world, many people believe that being the loudest voice in the room makes them appear important. Social media has encouraged constant opinions, endless debates, and the pressure to comment on everything. Yet those who leave the strongest impression are often the ones who know when to remain silent. Silence is not weakness, it is discipline. It gives a person time to think before reacting, to understand before judging, and to respond instead of simply responding emotionally. This ability separates wisdom from impulse. People who speak less often become better listeners. They pay attention not only to words, but also to tone, expressions, and emotions. Because they truly listen, their responses feel meaningful rather than automatic. Others naturally trust them because they feel heard instead of interrupted. Listening is one of the rarest forms of respect in modern life, and those who practice it consistently build stronger relationships in both personal and professional settings. They understand that learning begins when talking ends. Measured speech also means avoiding gossip and unnecessary criticism. It is easy to gain temporary attention by discussing someone else's mistakes or sharing rumors, but this habit slowly destroys credibility. Refined people recognize that speaking negatively about others often says more about the speaker than the person being discussed. They avoid conversations that spread bitterness, and they choose language that uplifts rather than divides. Even when criticism is necessary, they express it respectfully and constructively instead of using harsh or humiliating words. Another mark of class is speaking with clarity rather than exaggeration. Confident individuals do not feel the need to make every story more dramatic or every achievement seem larger than reality. They tell the truth plainly because honesty gives their words lasting value. People quickly recognize authenticity, and they remember those whose words consistently match their actions. Trust is built one truthful conversation at a time, while exaggeration slowly erodes respect. The tone of your voice can often communicate more than the message itself. Speaking calmly, maintaining a steady pace, and avoiding unnecessary shouting or sarcasm creates an atmosphere of confidence. A person who remains composed even during disagreement demonstrates emotional strength. They understand that raising their voice does not strengthen their argument. In fact, losing control often weakens it. Calm communication invites understanding, while aggressive speech creates resistance and conflicts. Thoughtful speakers also know the importance of timing. Not every opinion must be shared immediately, and not every disagreement requires an instant response. Sometimes wisdom means waiting until emotions settle before addressing a difficult issue. This patience prevents countless misunderstandings and shows a level of maturity that others deeply admired. People feel more comfortable around someone who chooses words carefully rather than reacting impulsively. One of the most powerful habits of refined individuals is asking meaningful questions instead of constantly speaking about themselves. They show genuine curiosity about other people's experiences, dreams, and perspectives. This simple habit transforms conversations into connections. Instead of trying to appear interesting, they become interested. Ironically, this makes them far more memorable because people naturally appreciate those who value their thoughts and feelings. Speaking less never means hiding your voice or lacking confidence. It means understanding that influence is not measured by the number of words you speak, but by the value those words carry. Every thoughtful sentence, every respectful response, and every intentional pause communicates a quiet confidence that no amount of loudness can replace, allowing your character to be recognized through wisdom, restraint, sincerity, and the lasting impact of words that are chosen with care rather than spoken without purpose. True class is often revealed through the smallest acts that most people consider insignificant. While many chase recognition through grand gestures or impressive achievements, refined individuals understand that character is built in ordinary moments. It is in the way they hold a door for someone carrying heavy bags, offer a genuine thank you without expecting anything in return, or patiently wait their turn without showing frustration. These simple acts of courtesy may seem small, but together they create a powerful impression that cannot be manufactured by wealth, appearance, or social status. Courtesy begins with awareness. It requires noticing the people around you instead of living only within your own concerns. High-class individuals pay attention to how their actions affect others. They avoid blocking pathways, interrupting conversations, or creating unnecessary inconvenience. They recognize that respect is demonstrated through consideration. Every thoughtful action quietly communicates, I see you, and I value your comfort as much as my own. That message carries more influence than expensive clothing or luxury possessions ever could. One of the strongest examples of daily courtesy is expressing gratitude. Many people reserve appreciation for major favors while ignoring the countless small kindnesses they receive throughout the day. Refined people thank the cashier who serves them, the colleague who offers assistance, the driver who waits patiently, and the family member who prepares a meal. Their gratitude is not exaggerated or performative. It is sincere because they understand that no act of kindness should be treated as ordinary. This habit creates an atmosphere of warmth wherever they go, making people feel respected and appreciated. Kindness is another gesture that instantly signals genuine class. However, true kindness is different from seeking praise for being generous. It happens quietly, often without anyone noticing. It is helping someone without announcing it, offering encouragement when another person feels discouraged, or choosing words that heal instead of hurt. These individuals do not perform kindness for applause. They practice it because it reflects who they are. Their actions remain consistent, whether people are watching or not, proving that integrity is strongest when it exists without an audience. Courtesy also appears in moments of inconvenience. Anyone can be polite when life is easy, but refinement becomes visible during delays, mistakes, and disappointments. Imagine waiting in a long line or receiving poor service at a restaurant. Some people immediately become impatient, raise their voices, or treat employees disrespectfully. A truly refined person remains composed. They address problems firmly yet respectfully, understanding that frustration does not justify humiliating another human being. Their emotional discipline protects both their dignity and the dignity of those around them. Another overlooked gesture is remembering names and personal details. When someone recalls your name, asks about a previous conversation, or remembers an important event in your life, you immediately feel valued. High-class individuals understand that people rarely forget how you make them feel. By paying attention to these details, they build trust and meaningful relationships without relying on charm or manipulation. Their interest in others is genuine, and that authenticity leaves a lasting impression. Respecting other people's time is another form of courtesy that reflects discipline and maturity. Arriving on time, keeping promises, responding thoughtfully, and avoiding unnecessary delays demonstrate reliability. These habits show that you value another person's schedule as much as your own. People naturally place greater trust in those whose actions consistently match their commitments because reliability is a quiet expression of respect. Perhaps the most powerful daily gesture is making others feel comfortable rather than intimidated. Truly refined individuals never use their knowledge, success, or influence to make someone feel inferior. Instead, they create conversations where everyone feels included, welcomed, and respected. They celebrate the achievements of others without jealousy, offer compliments without flattery, and encourage without expecting recognition. These everyday acts of courtesy become part of their identity, revealing that genuine class is not measured by how important you appear, but by how valued, respected, and uplifted people feel after spending even a few moments in your presence. One of the clearest distinctions between someone who merely appears sophisticated and someone who truly possesses class is how they respond when life becomes difficult. Anyone can smile when everything is going well. Anyone can remain polite when they are receiving praise, comfort, and success. But true refinement is revealed during moments of disappointment, criticism, and uncertainty. Grace under pressure is not about pretending that problems do not exist. It is about maintaining dignity, composure, and emotional control when circumstances tempt you to lose them. This quiet strength speaks louder than any display of wealth or status ever could. Life constantly presents situations that test patience. A delayed flight, an unfair comment, a broken promise, a difficult coworker, or an unexpected setback can quickly expose a person's emotional habits. Some react instantly with anger, blame, or frustration. They allow temporary emotions to dictate permanent actions. Others pause before responding. They understand that every reaction is a choice, and every choice shapes the way people remember them. High-class individuals recognize that losing control rarely solves a problem, but maintaining composure often opens the door to better solutions. Emotional control should never be mistaken for emotional suppression. Refined people still experience disappointment, sadness, and frustration just like everyone else. The difference is that they refuse to let those emotions become their master. Instead of exploding in anger or speaking words they will later regret, they give themselves the space to think clearly. They understand that a calm response requires more strength than an emotional outburst. Anyone can react. It takes discipline to respond with wisdom. Criticism is another powerful test of character. Many people become defensive the moment someone questions their ideas or points out a mistake. Their first instinct is to argue, justify themselves, or attack the other person. A refined individual approaches criticism differently. They listen before speaking. They separate useful feedback from unnecessary negativity. If the criticism contains truth, they accept it with humility and use it to improve. If it is unfair, they respond with respect rather than resentment. They understand that protecting their peace is more valuable than winning every argument. Grace under pressure also means refusing to let other people's behavior determine your own. There will always be individuals who are rude, impatient, or disrespectful. Responding with the same attitude only places you at their level. High-class people choose a different path. They remain courteous without becoming weak. They defend themselves without becoming hostile. They set healthy boundaries without losing their self-respect. This balance requires emotional maturity because it demands strength without aggression and confidence without arrogance. Another sign of composure is the ability to admit mistakes. Many people fear apologizing because they believe it makes them appear weak. In reality, accepting responsibility is one of the strongest demonstrations of character. A sincere apology reflects confidence, not insecurity. It shows that your identity is not so fragile that it depends on always being right. Refined individuals understand that protecting relationships is often more important than protecting their pride. Pressure also reveals priorities. During stressful moments, emotionally immature people often focus only on themselves. Their frustration becomes everyone's problem. In contrast, those with genuine class remain aware of the people around them. They speak respectfully even when they are under pressure. They avoid spreading panic or negativity. Their calm presence reassures others because they understand that leadership begins with emotional stability. People naturally trust those who remain steady when circumstances become uncertain. Perhaps the greatest expression of grace is the ability to walk away from unnecessary conflict. Not every insult deserves a response, and not every disagreement deserves a battle. Refined individuals know that silence can sometimes demonstrate greater confidence than the perfect comeback. They protect their energy by choosing peace over pride, wisdom over impulse, and dignity over drama. In doing so, they reveal that true class is not measured by how fiercely someone can fight every challenge, but by how calmly, thoughtfully, and honorably they carry themselves through life's most demanding moments, leaving behind an example of strength that inspires respect instead of fear and admiration instead of intimidation. The strongest sign of genuine class is not found in a single impressive moment, but in the quiet consistency of everyday character. Anyone can behave with elegance when people are watching. Anyone can appear disciplined for a day or two. But true refinement is revealed when your actions remain the same regardless of the audience, the circumstances, or the rewards. High-class individuals understand that reputation is not built through occasional greatness. It is built through small, honorable choices repeated day after day until they become part of who you are. Character is the foundation upon which every lasting impression is built. It is the invisible force that shapes your decisions when no one is there to applaud or criticize you. A person with strong character keeps their promises, even when breaking them would be easier. They arrive on time because they respect other people's time. They complete their responsibilities because they believe excellence is a personal standard, not something dependent on recognition. Their consistency creates trust, and trust is one of the rarest forms of wealth anyone can possess. Integrity is another habit that instantly distinguishes refined people. They do not change their values depending on who is standing in front of them. They speak honestly, whether they are talking to a close friend, a stranger, or someone in authority. They avoid pretending to be someone they are not simply to gain approval. This authenticity gives them a quiet confidence because they are not exhausted from maintaining different versions of themselves. They know that pretending may win temporary admiration, but authenticity earns lasting respect. Consistency also appears in the way people treat others. Many individuals are polite to those who can benefit them, but dismissive toward those they consider unimportant. Genuine class rejects this double standard. A refined person offers the same courtesy to a receptionist as to a chief executive, the same kindness to a waiter as to a business partner, and the same respect to someone with little influence as to someone with great success. Their behavior is guided by principles rather than personal advantage, and people notice this reliability over time. Daily discipline plays an equally important role. High-class individuals understand that every habit either strengthens or weakens their character. They care for their appearance not to impress others, but to demonstrate self-respect. They continue learning because they believe growth never ends. They manage their emotions because they know one careless reaction can undo years of trust. They maintain healthy routines, honor their commitments, and strive to improve themselves quietly instead of announcing every achievement. These repeated actions create a life of substance rather than a life built on appearances. One of the greatest challenges in maintaining consistency is resisting the temptation to seek constant validation. Modern culture often rewards visibility over virtue, encouraging people to display every success for approval. Refined individuals take a different path. They understand that meaningful progress often happens in private. They do not need every accomplishment to be celebrated because their motivation comes from personal standards rather than public applause. This inner discipline allows them to remain focused on becoming better instead of simply appearing better. Consistency in character also means remaining humble during success and hopeful during failure. Success does not make them arrogant because they recognize that every achievement requires continued effort. Failure does not make them quit because they understand that setbacks are opportunities to develop resilience and wisdom. Their identity is rooted in values rather than circumstances, allowing them to stay balanced regardless of life's changing seasons. Perhaps the greatest lesson is that class is not inherited, purchased, or performed. It is earned through the choices you make every single day. Every honest word, every fulfilled promise, every respectful interaction, and every disciplined habit quietly shapes the person you become. Over time, these seemingly ordinary decisions create an extraordinary reputation, proving that the highest form of elegance is not found in luxury, status, or admiration, but in an unwavering commitment to integrity, humility, reliability, and the kind of character that remains strong, honorable, and dependable in every situation life presents.